Greetings to everybody. Welcome to the literature reading followed by meditation session. Today we will be reading from Revered Babaji Maharaj's Complete Works of Chandra, Volume 6. The topic is about becoming remembrance. So in connection with this topic, a few thoughts came which we all have been trying to understand for the past several weeks. That silence is the space in which one awakens. When the mind becomes silence, awakening happens. A noisy mind is the space when one is asleep. That is why the call of the masters to arise, awake. So that is the purpose of meditation, is to be awakened in silence. So all, whether it's meditation, our actions, our speech, should not disturb this inner silence. It should help us to arrive at this inner silence. Actually, we are only living in one corner of our being. The sages say that, which is our conscious mind, which is the noisy mind. We are forgetting the rest of our being. The rest of the being is where silence pervades. It's almost like we own a big palace, but we are only living in one small room, trapped. So that is the purpose of the practice. The sadhana is to expand our awareness, to realize this inner expansion where we spread instead of being stuck in this one corner of the room of our mind. So the purpose of sadhana practice is to expand our awareness, to realize this inner expansion, that we are living in a big palace where we spread instead of just being stuck in one room of the mind. For this, the more watchful we become, the more we are able to slow down and relax. We have to relax and become watchful. This is what we do in meditation. So transformation happens when we put our whole self into this watchful awareness. That is why in the silence, we are awakened. When we put our whole self to this act of watchful awareness. So when there is awareness, now love will give wings and it transforms into devotion. That quality of devotion happens only when awareness is there. And that is the sensitivity we need to develop. Quality of awareness. Silent observation in meditation, leading to watchfulness, which is witnessing, and that leading to awareness will lead to witness. Silent observation to watchfulness, to awareness, to witness. So in this awareness, masters say that we are totally in this moment. There's no past, there's no future. One moment at a time. So it is this awareness is this simple feeling of centeredness in the silence. In awareness and devotion, we are embracing life as is. And that is the beauty of life. We accept everything. And being in that kind of devotion, that state of devotion is constant remembrance, being in remembrance. So observation to watchfulness, leading to awareness. In this moment, this feeling of centeredness in silence, and with this kind of awareness and love and devotion, We accept everything that is happening to us in life, and being in that state of devotion is remembrance. So let us continue to see what Babaji Maharaj has to say. Become remembrance. He is writing this letter to an Abhyasi. I was introduced to you and we were then separated. But you certainly left your memory, which is present in me till now. That's what the masters do for us. If the same is in you, that is, if you feel the same way, then we will not call it separation. If the master feels the same way as we feel, actually, if we feel the same way as the master feels, then there is no separation. Because I remember once Chariji told me, you wish to love me the way I love you. And that is the truth. Memory alone is such that a person may be far off, yet still he appears to be in front of us. The person's physical presence may be far off, but you feel the nearness. Divine remembrance has the same condition. If we are able to keep his memory somewhere, then there is no necessity for us to search for him. If we are able to increase our remembrance to such an extent that divine himself remembers us, then it is equivalent to the icing on the cake. Kabir Sahib has also written, if my Ram sings my chant, then I will have rest. And that is why at some point Babuji, all the great masters, meditated almost with the concept that the master is meditating on their form. And as the master is meditating on my own form, because he is observing me, all my flaws are melting away and the master is in love with me. It's a beautiful technique. I practiced it. In our system, this condition develops in seekers. By constant remembrance, we ourselves become memory. If I describe this philosophy, it will be the essence of Vedanta. What I am saying is, produce such a condition in yourself which is not at all difficult. Share the technique. One's heart has to prompt it. It is not like an artificial technique that we practice in meditation when you are prompted. Babuji Maharaj clearly said only you meditate like that when your heart prompts you from above. What I did was, or the master did was, meditate on that the master is meditating on. Lalaji and Babuji said that the master was meditating on their form, their physical form. And because their master's vision is on my physical form, all the flaws are melting away and he is longing for mergence. It is essential that the teacher should be such that he can foment the student by the warmth of his own divine remembrance. He will give you his experience. We need to be continuously practicing. So, what makes us deserving is the basic practice of trying to be in silence, remove the flaws, work at that point B, point A, especially repentance. You will be able to remember me at that time when your heart understands that I am serving you as per your requirement. What does that statement mean? That means when true gratitude arises in your heart, when you recognize that the master is truly serving you, is literally feeding you, you are able to feel, then that true gratitude is remembrance. Because at the end, there's only gratitude and gratitude and gratitude. The rule is that when the servant serves his master and takes care of him well, the master also casts his affectionate eye on the servant. The same condition can be mine also. If I am able to do spiritual service for you people correctly, then it is not possible that you will be unable to fill your every vision with spirituality. Now that you have come and have also learnt the practice, I hope that you will become complete in this and you can do all this. We have to become complete in our practice. Practice is not just one aspect of it, complete totality in practice. The most important requirement is that you make up your mind fully that you will surely attain completeness, and you have complete faith in yourself that this will certainly happen. Why do I have faith in myself that this transformation will completely happen in me? Because I have such a guide that is holding my hand. Then nothing can stop you on your way. This is the key to success. In our system, there is one precedent that when we do any work, we are into that work fully. It means nothing but what we are determined to attain the divine ultimate. Whoever is determined to do good work, the divine power works in him. If you have the intention, pure intention of serving your brothers and sisters in a true way to help them, then the power descends into you. Brother, in our system, while doing our work at home, our work to earn money, and working for all, we remember the divine. By serving others, in that we remember the divine. From this perspective, instead of calling it Raja Yoga, we call it Gruhastha Yoga. It will be understood correctly. Instead of calling it union with that ultimate by mastering the mind, we call it by service, we are mastering it. By serving in the family life. I could not stop my mind, so I have written something. If your mind also cannot be stopped, you may also write something. Benefit is also there through this. When I come to know about your condition, spiritual progress will improve on its own. This is the purpose of diary writing. When we write it in our diary, we are communicating to the living guide's consciousness. So he comes to know what's happening in this case. I think I shared this before once. For some time I wasn't writing my diary. And then I see one of the brothers who serve master in his cottage. Akka, master is looking for your diary. I woke up and why is he looking for my diary? Because without reading it, he doesn't know what condition I am in, and he can't give me further progress. So if I really want to progress, I better start writing. So under all circumstances, right after my meditation, I make sure that I write whatever is that condition. So all of us should try, because that is one thing that's very difficult for me. But I make my efforts. So all of us should make our efforts, because our progress depends on it. Communicating to the master of where you are today, honestly. We don't write like, oh, I'm feeling bad, this, that, in great condition. In honesty, the truth, whatever we are feeling, put it down there, because we are reporting to him. Because when we honestly put it, he'll help us. So this is what this topic today is short. The next one is called is the science of spiritual journey. We will read one page of that. At Lakhimpur, I told you about a few circles that were shown to me by Lalaji Maharaj, who himself drew them on paper. My understanding was as follows. At the ultimate condition of those 5 circles was the condition of Adigati, Alam e Kudas, where the central region begins. But there a flash came that 11 more circles exist beyond those 5. And after crossing those, there are an additional 7 rings of light. And what type of light? Such light that it is present merely as an idea, only for the sake of giving it a name. When a person crosses these also, then comes that point which I have clearly illustrated with the help of the last diagram in my book, Efficacy of Raj Yoga in the Light of Sahaj Marg. A human being reaches that place after attaining liberation. But crossing all these circles in one lifetime is not an easy task. At another place in the same book, I have written that it is the discovery of my Guruji how to jump into this condition in this lifetime. Now tell me, is this discovery not worth writing in gold? A person who has set an example by doing so in his lifetime, is he not worth worshipping? So he's talking about his master Lalaji Maharaj. Today I pondered over those 11 circles which come after the 5 circles to know what is the condition there, but the difference is so fine that it cannot be described. There are numerous veils in those 5 and 11 circles. One lifetime is not enough to cross even one cover. That's what I said once, that I feel confident I have crossed the first point, and that I am very grateful in this lifetime. Even if it is that first point, we should be grateful because it is so difficult to cross. I do not know up to what extent the divine has hidden his real self. There is no limit to it. After the 7 rings, if the mind remains intact and you can find words to describe that state, then you will know what lies beyond. That means how strong our mind has to be for us to be able to perceive that 7 rings of splendor in the central region. The mind has to withstand that power. That is why basics are needed, foundation is needed. Bit by bit, every day we have to increase our capacity to meditate more. Brother, even if you could begin to assess it, you would be dumbfounded. Even the center, which is inactive, seems to have a ring surrounding it, and that is the last ring. I tried many times to cross it, and by His grace, I am still in the vicinity of it, but the power of that ring throws back the very thought of crossing it. I will make another attempt, whatever may be the result. But the divine has kept that ring purposely so that nobody can enter that. Certainly, I will be helpless. I have been able to peep into the it and get an idea of it. When this happens, the final superconscious state, which is located at the back of the head, opens up. So that 13th point beyond and all that he's talking, which is unimaginable for ordinary folks like us. But it is good to know what the goal is. My only wish is that my associates may reach any condition beyond this. I will be happiest if someone attains higher conditions than me. But, dear brother, here they give up before they even reach 1/10 of it. This means that they do not have the motivation to go beyond. So, this quality of persistence we have to develop in us. Come what may, I have to achieve that state of being, and we have to practice persistently. We only talk about it, but in action we have to bring it into reality. Now listen, how many have reached this point since the beginning of creation? It is true and correct that there are few. Now I think it is proper to take a dictation on this, and the same is the wish of our Lalaji Maharaj. Intercommunication received from Lalaji Maharaj. Many people have been born in this world, and everybody has considered himself superior to the other. One saint was better than the other. Every master was better than the other. It has been a trend. But, brother, the real light is kindled when it is ordained. Chirags, earthen lamps, do twinkle and shed some light, and this creation of divinity has benefited from that to some extent. But alas, this light was kindled at a time when there was nobody to value it. That means when Lalaji and Babuji came, people did not recognize the value of their essence, their light. Its rays have produced smoke. There was gloom all around. The sun started setting and the moonlight became dim, but these signs were external. The light is certainly right in front of us. It is only moths that are missing. That is why it is very difficult to recognize the true masters when they are there, because they hide under their simplicity. You cannot perceive their divinity. And that is why Daji's famous statement he once said with so much anguish in his heart. The first thing is Do not misunderstand your master. Because that's what we all do, everything. We are critical, we are misunderstanding. Have little bit faith for the mother who is feeding you. Was this light there at the time of King Dashrath? Was it present in any other era? Was Raja Janak able to shed any light? Was Yajnavalka influenced by it? Was he aware that there is something beyond it also? Did Lord Ramachandraji speak about this anywhere? Has its impact or effect been described anywhere in holy books? Is anybody aware of it? Did Rishi Vashishta know of it? These were all great saints. If these names are taken, volumes can be written. But alas, they also remained unaware of this magnificent thing. It is true that a flower blooms when divine wishes. Without the ultimate wish, even a gentle breeze cannot touch the flower. This is unique time. Was the special personality required at this time when there is no one to take it? He's talking about Babuji. This is strange. When there is no one to take this from him, whose wish it is to take everybody to the last ring that surrounds the source. Because Babuji was a special personality, he was able to peep into that ring surrounding the source. And he wishes everybody comes to that level of expansion. Nay, beyond that too. Anyway, his wish must prevail. We may keep flailing our arms. Nobody is born who can disclose such secrets like this. Kings have been born and also sages. Raja Janak was also there and so were paupers. Nobody dared to reach this height or to this place. And why should they? This was reserved for me alone and glory was only to come to me. This Lalaji talking about it. Now I come to the point. Listen to the condition of the so-called evolved personalities. Raja Janak was a king, a great personality, and son of sages came to him to learn Brahmavidya. And immediately there is another communication from Swami Vivekananda. This is a very important letter. It can be understood by going through the process whenever circumstances exist to do so. Raja Janak became so famous, which was reserved for very few. But what was his approach? Egoism was still there. His progress was incomparable as he had crossed all five chakras. This means that his access was beyond Alame Kudas, that is the heart region. And during his lifetime, he reached up to 1.5 of the 11 circles of the ego. That means he went up to seventh point, he was swimming. This was not the end, as much remained beyond this. A person becomes free from Maya in the fifth circle. The stages of ego start after this, and as a person continues to cross the circles, more is added to his condition of liberation. The final condition of ego is to be found at the 11th ring. As the condition of illusion ends at the fifth ring, so the condition of ego comes to its pure form at the 11th circle. After this, there is neither Maya nor ego. But after the 11th ring of ego, there comes another state which can be described as personal identity. This personal identity has 7 rings. Then comes the finer form, and then that identity remains as identity in pure form. It can be said that he is free from ego. Now, swimming is there, which can be done only in this lifetime. What is concealed herein, no words can describe. One should consider these 11 rings as steps of progress which have been described, and inside these rings, numerous coverings and many shiny objects are present. It takes years to cross each stage, and even then it remains incomplete. Those who are interested in spirituality and who want to know about this training will now have an idea by reading this letter of how much more they have to travel. On my behalf, tell those who are hankering for liberation that it is a child's play for Lalaji Sahab. They should at least try to expand their thoughts to reach this height and procure all that can help in expanding their thoughts to the extent. This chapter is way beyond all of us, but yet it is good to know how far the journey goes on and on. But it all begins with this first step of arriving at silence with awareness, with devotion, utmost humility. So let us all meditate.